So I've asked Dr. Miller if he'd lead us in prayer this evening, and then we'll jump into the agenda.
Thank you. I'll try to do as good as Maurice. We miss Maurice tonight, right? Father, we just thank you for this night. God, we're respectful of the reasons that we come together tonight. Lord, there are a lot of challenges that we are trying to deal with. And we come to you tonight, God, asking for wisdom, asking for blessing. And we pray tonight, Lord, that the conversation that's offered up here will bless you, will glorify you, and will make a difference, God. We would like to see a difference made. We'd like to see some changes made. And we ask you for those things, God. We ask you for the ability to be able to do the things that will cause change for the better, according to your word, God. And we look forward to what you're going to do tonight. We pray for your speaker here tonight, God, that you would anoint him to speak the words that you choose for him to speak. And we look forward to this whole evening in Jesus' name. Everybody said amen.
Amen. Don, if you would lead us in the prayer, or the pledges, and then we'll go from there.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, thank you all for coming out, and we're going to start off with a couple of announcements, and I want to make sure everybody's aware of. So, Don, could you kill one of the lights over there, please? The front one? There you go. Yeah, the front one. There you go. Can everybody see that okay? Okay, one of the things we've been working on is a makeover on the website. So I'll make sure that everybody's aware of, we do have a website and we have a Facebook page. So if you haven't visited it, go ahead. And we're going to start getting that a lot more active going forward. So we'll be posting announcements, events, things of that nature on there, and articles by the membership. So be cognizant that it's out there as well. Okay. And then also, starting in September, some of you have been participating in our, what I call the Hood County Liberty Project workshops. I've been able to set it up so it's on the second and fourth Wednesday of every month going forward. And the first 4 sessions are going to be at Swanee's Barbecue, and it'll be at 6 to 8 p.m. So there's flyers up here. We'll distribute those and make sure that if you can come and participate, I'd love that. And basically the premise is on what, as some of you have known, John Jay, the first Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, this is what kind of inspired me for this, was every member of the state ought to diligently to read and to study the Constitution of his country and teach the rising generation to be free. By knowing our rights, they will sooner perceive when they are violated and be better prepared to defend and assert them. And so with that, what we take a look at during the workshop is I've got the lessons broken up based on the principles of the 5,000-year leap. We start with that, and then we start looking at the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. So we kind of tie that into modern day events. And if any of you have seen what we did at the County Commissioner's Court this past week, tied a lot of principle into my commentaries with those guys. And as Alan West, if you've heard him speak, as he says, it's easy to win the argument if you stick to principles. You don't have to be a knowledgeable on every subject, but as long as you're grounded in principles, then it kind of gives you a good guide. And kind of go from there. One of the things I found when I was taking a look at this, in the First Amendment, can anybody tell me what is guaranteed under the First Amendment of the Constitution? Freedom of speech. What else? Freedom of religion. Yeah. Freedom of what? Protest. Okay. That's the Second Amendment. That's what protects the First Amendment. But yes, so it's good. So I saw a news clip a couple of weeks ago, and they went around and asked a lot of college graduates, high school graduates, recent. They said, can you name me 3 things guaranteed under the First Amendment? It was very sad how many people could not list anything. And there's a lot in there. And so what I wanted to kind of highlight is that this is the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people to peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. That's one of the things I want to kind of highlight that we kind of had, and Dave will highlight some of the outcomes of that earlier. But when we went to the Christian Values Summit here in Granbury, one of the things I took away from that was John Quincy Adams. He was the 6th president of the United States, but he was also known for something else. He petitioned Congress more than any other person in Congress at the time. His constituents would go to him and say, I want you to submit this petition to Congress to get it voted on. How many of you guys have ever gone to your congressman and submitted a petition and wanted him to vote on it? Excellent. So one, but then the question is, why haven't the rest of you? So that's our right. And one of the things I would like to highlight, and it doesn't have to be our congressmen, our county commissioners, our congressmen, our state legislators, we have the right to petition them for our grievances. And what has happened is we've stopped doing that. So I'd like to encourage everyone to make sure the First Amendment right there spells out that we have the right to petition to our government. Okay? And so that leads into my next thing. I want to highlight some things. We're going to start working on what I call little action alerts. And actually it kind of came, I got to thank Mike Lang for a little bit of this. One of the things he highlighted in some of his presentation was the Republican Party platform for 2014. And so what you see is, if you look at the Republican Party principles, down through there is several things affecting today. And in particular, if you look at preserving American and Texas sovereignty and freedom, the sanctity of human life, and let's see, self-sufficient families founded on the traditional marriage of a natural man and a natural woman. And then Americans having the right to be safe in their homes, and having an educated population with parents having the freedom of choice to educate their children. And then at the bottom, and we believe in the laws of nature and nature's God, as our founding fathers believed. So there's a couple of things, and I'll tie this all together. So that's the Republican Party platform. When you look at the Republicans across the spectrum right now, I realize Donald Trump has kind of sucked all the air out, and it's allowed them to hide behind the noise that he's making. But how many of them are standing up on the principles? So the gay marriage issue, 76% of the state of Texas put that in our Constitution. How many of our representatives are standing up and telling the federal government no? Yeah. So why aren't the rest? They said that they follow these principles. So we have the right to petition them to follow their principles. The county commissioners. Parents have the right to educate their children as they see fit, i.e., we don't have to have sexually oriented books in the children's section in the library. Why aren't the county commissioners cognizant of this? Okay, that's all right here in their platform. So going forward, I'm going to start sending out to our emailing list some action alerts. And here's a couple that I wanted to I want everybody to walk away with some things that they can do, and these are up here on the table for you to take away with you. So, Congressman Conaway, he's our congressman. When's the last time any of you saw him in town hall here? Yeah, see, he's hiding behind Trump's noise and air right now. He's hoping that we'll forget about him. He's on vacation right now. He should be providing us feedback on what he's doing to protect our liberty. So I would ask that all of you take a look at, and you can get it up here or write it down. He's got a phone number here in Granbury. He's got the Washington phone number, or you can go on his website and email him. And here's some ideas to ask him about. Why is it he doesn't have any town halls here in Granbury or in Hood County? Number 2, your opinion on supporting the resolution to vacate the speaker. How many people are aware that Mark Meadows put forth a resolution to vacate the speaker at the end of the last session. So where's Conaway stand on this? Has anybody asked him? Or will he answer that question?
He didn't answer it.
Exactly. But here's the thing. The more you call him, the more you email him, it does make a difference. And then lack of action on border security. Why is it he hasn't done anything or submitted anything or supported anything in that? And then lack of action on Obamacare. All these things he should have been coming to talk to us about. He hasn't. He's our representative, so we should petition him. What's he doing on this? Okay? Just a thought. And then, this one. So Dave's going to give an update here in a minute, but I want to make sure everybody walks away. I hope all of you know who your county commissioners are. James Deaver, Butch Barton, Jeff Tout, and Steve Berry. Here's their email address and their phone number up there. So there's two issues that we want to highlight. So when Dave and I had a little back and forth, one of the things that they wanted to ask was, what do you guys expect of us? So there's two items out there. So provide your opinion on the control of the library books for children. Why are they allowing sexually oriented books in the children's section? Why are they allowing the library to restrict religious freedom of speech? You can ask them that. And then, here's one of the things that they pointed out, and I'd like you guys to support on. They said they're getting a lot of negative feedback because one of our elected officials that's here tonight stood on principle, and they're saying they're getting too much negative feedback. So all of you people that support standing on principle, i.e. like Katie Lang did, I would encourage you to contact them and let them know that you support standing on principle. Okay? But the more we talk, the more we make them care. All right? Or we go find somebody else. All right? So we petition, and then there's a change. Okay? One way or the other. Okay? And then last, I'll let Jan Vernon talk a little bit about this if she wants to. Everybody's aware of the persecution going on in the Middle East, and there's an opportunity to get involved. Not endorsing one way or the other, it's just an opportunity to help support the Christians being persecuted. Jan, you want to say a little bit about that? So I sent out an email earlier this week, and just let Jan kind of explain where we're at on that.
I became aware of this effort to help free the Christians. Basically, if you saw Schindler's List, the movie, you know that Schindler bought Jewish people, children, to seek refuge in his factories from the Nazis. And we have a chance to basically start a new Schindler's List and free Christians. What is happening, as most of you know, although you don't get it on the regular news, is that they are being systematically eliminated. In Syria, several years ago, there were 2 million Christians. They're down to 400,000 now. And they're either leaving or they are being eliminated. And people seem to be more concerned about the buildings and the historical artifacts that are being blown up than they are about the people. And for $25,000, a family of 5 can be taken out, taken to freedom. Our country is accepting very few of these people. They don't want to show favoritism, but we're accepting 3 times more Muslims than we are pretty much any other group. And they're being relocated, and we don't seem to have a problem with that. But I became aware of it through Glenn Beck. He has a relief organization called Mercury One, and they are in operation all the time. They've been in operation several years ago. Glenn started them. He pays the administrative costs, so 100% of the donation goes to, if you're trying to give it to the veterans, 100% goes to the veterans. If you're giving it to hurricane relief or tornado relief, 100% goes. And they have a very good track record on this. So he started, he's been talking about, we said never again, but never again is now. And his saying is, if not us, who, and if not now, when? And so people need to, what I'm asking you to do, if you think this is a worthwhile effort, they raised $1 million last weekend. And he is going to Birmingham for a march, a peaceful march, a unity march on Saturday morning. He was pledging today to try to raise $10 million to buy, and every million buys 40 families. And so remember, you're not just buying these people, and these were the middle class. These were the accountants, the merchants, and so on in their society. So they're not the dregs of society. These are the people that are going to be an asset to whatever country they go to. And he wants to try to get $10 million raised, and he's going to try to use this weekend as a platform to try to do that. So I admire what he's trying to do. We need to talk to our pastors. We need to talk to our Sunday school groups. We need to talk to civic organizations. If you're concerned about the genocide that happened during World War II and you were too young to do anything about it, this is your chance to say, okay, not in my name, not on my watch, I'm going to do something about it.
All right, and like I said, all this information is on a printout over there, so you guys can take one with you as you leave, or I'll start them handing out over here. So, with that, one thing I would like to do is if all the veterans would stand up, please, for recognition. Everybody that was in the armed forces. Thank you very much for your service. Now, if I could, all the elected officials, please stand up. All right, and with that, I think we've got a couple of announcements from elected officials. Jean, I think you had announcements that you'd like to make.
I have a very loud voice. Do I need the microphone? No. I didn't think so. Hood County Children's Charity, it's kind of a quiet charity, but we're the ones that clothe 650 kids for back to school. They go shopping at Walmart, we pay the bills. We're the ones that get called if they need rental assistance or they need utility assistance or medical assistance. We have about a $90,000 annual budget. We're having our first annual Yellow Envelope Luncheon, and we're very excited to have the First Lady of Texas, Cecilia Abbott, be our guest speaker. And she's coming to do this for us for nothing. So again, we're very excited about that. It's going to be September the 23rd at the Resort Center at lunch. Tickets are $65, so if anybody's interested, I can sell you tickets. That's one announcement. My second announcement is I'm going to run for County Commissioner Precinct 1. It will be against James Deaver. It's Precinct 1, and I don't know how many of you know where that is, but it's Lipan, Toller, downtown, Indian Harbor, so I'm kind of spread all over the place. I will be getting information out. I have a great background, so I'm asking for your support. If you live in Precinct 1, and if you don't, just tell all your friends how awesome I am, and that I'll do a great job for them. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have another gentleman, Mr. Bassel. You're running for office?
Well, I'm not running for, I haven't announced yet.
Oh, okay,
So,
all right. If you
but
want to make your, kind of stand up, introduce yourself.
my name is Dabney Basil. I'm an attorney in Fort Worth, and I'm contemplating a run for the Second Court of Appeals in Fort Worth. It's one of the 14 intermediate appellate courts in Texas, and it has a 12-county jurisdiction, basically running from Hood to Wichita County. So I'm just trying to introduce myself to the various groups. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight, since we especially seem to have a high concentration of conservative voters.
And Ms. Head, yes, you want to introduce yourself and to the group here?
I'm Sandra Head. I'm going to run for Hood County Tax Assessor Collector. I've lived here most of my life, growing up in grade school, and then my mom moved us away. And I moved back shortly, about 5 years ago, and met my husband. We got married about 2.5 years ago. So.
Gonna have to talk loud.
I'm very interested in anybody's questions, any opinions that someone might have. towards me, towards the job that I want to run for. I'm open for anything.
All right. And so, by all means, at the end, if you want to ask questions, I think she's free to kind of step over and answer any questions you got. So. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Matt.
Oh, I snuck in.
Yes, I did not see you. Do you want to stand up and say anything?
Well, don't we all, right? I mean,
Exactly.
Mike probably does too, I guess, I would assume, right? Anyway, Matt Mills running for Hood County Attorney, and I'm trying to do some signatures too, so I don't have to pay. I think it's $750. So if y'all, Sandy's helping me with signatures, but some of y'all have already signed. That's great. Some not. So if you want to sign and help me get on the ballot, that's great. Also, I met with Jim and Dave for dinner the other night. I've got a stack of material that I think is very eye-opening. If you're interested and want to take 10 or 15 minutes and go over it with me, I'm going to do that little bit with Sandy tomorrow. So if you want to do that, there's a lot of good material that I have on the race that if you follow all the Facebook stuff, it's basically the stuff that's been posted over and over, but I actually have black and white documents on some stuff. So anyway, if you're interested, come see me.
Mike, would you like to say a few words to the audience?
I'll keep
You've
it
got
short.
the audience.
Most of y'all know I'm running for State Rep District 60, and I've got my card here. If you don't have one, please follow us on Facebook. There's a lot that we post on there, and thank y'all. A lot of y'all have supported us financially and in other ways, and we appreciate it. And come November and December, we'll be getting the signs out, so that'll be the next big step. But tell your friends and pass it along. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other individuals running for office elected, or man?
I'm not, but I'd like to make a point.
Sure.
Ever since the election has been over, where have the people that were working so hard for our votes? Where are they? They're not here. There's one lady sitting back there that's coming, Kathy Wynn, and she needs to be recognized.
Yes, sir.
If we're making points, I've got a quick one on the library.
Okay.
I didn't want to call and ask if they had Rush Limbaugh's book that's award-winning for children's history.
Mm-hmm.
The Hood County News page has on it, number one, Rush Limbaugh is a big fat idiot and other obscenities. Number two was R.L. Story, The Talent on Loan from God, unauthorized biography. Number three is The Most Dangerous Man in America, Rush Limbaugh's Assault on Reason. And then finally you get down to one of the books. And he has received awards for those children's books. And that tells you something else about our library. So it's not simply, do you think it's unconstitutional to put a book from one shelf to another? Since you're going to run for county attorney? I think that was the silliest decision I ever heard out of attorney. I'm Neil Wilkerson, by the way. It's amazing. And so we can't quit. And we have to get other people involved. Maybe have a noon meeting that the youngsters can go to when they've got to take a break for lunch because they can't come tonight because they take care of their kids. But we need to expand.
Well, I think you've teed that up very well for Dave, because Dave was going to add some more background on the county commissioners meeting we had on Tuesday, and a little bit of info on what we're going forward. So,
Is that my cue?
Yeah, exactly. I thought you teed him up to.
I know, I paid him for that. I've been ridiculed about this tag hanging on my shirt, but I thought there might be a lib here. It says no boundaries. I just thought, well, if there was one lib in the house, I'm wearing this for you. But anyway, I want to chime in on what Jim was talking about regarding contacting your congressman and your elected officials. I went to a meeting in Virginia last week. It's the second annual Farm Food Freedom Fest, and it was a conglomeration of small artisan farmers and manufacturers who are trying to get our food system back to a locally produced food. And there was a congressman there from Kentucky. He was a young congressman. His name was Tom Massey. And if you don't know who he is, look him up, because he's a young, upcoming conservative. And one of the things that he said that I really resonated with me is, you can email him all you want, you can write him all kinds of letters all you want to do, but calling him, and he said if 10 people call on one issue, that gets their attention. Because what they're doing is they're not looking at all the emails and stuff. They're calling the office up and saying, so what's going on? Well, you've had 10 calls on X. And he said that's the best way to get your elected officials' attention, and I'm just passing that on. There was a commissioner's court. Commissioner's court meets on the 2nd Tuesday of the month and the 4th Tuesday of the month, every month, 9 a.m., right up there in the central jury room. If you've never been, I urge you to go try it out, because you've heard about making sausage, watching legislation and making sausage. Well, that's kind of what you see when you go up there. And this library issue has not finished. We are not through with this issue. And what happened on this last Commissioner's Court is they tried to sneak in as an agenda item a policies and procedures manual, which they've never had yet. One of them claimed they did, but I don't believe him. And we found out about it Friday when they published the agenda on the Thursday before the Tuesday. So you don't even know what they're going to do until 3 or 4 days before. And so we went up there to speak on the issue, and we asked them basically to table it until the communities had a chance to read these left-wing ALA, American Library Association, printed materials. There's some really bad stuff in there about the internet. For instance, allowing a 15-year-old to supervise a 12-year-old is okay on the internet. So if a 15-year-old boy walks in there with a 12-year-old girl, it's arguable that he can put her on the porn in our public library. Now, would that happen? Maybe not. But that's what it opens the door for. So we're going to be reviewing these, and we had some discourse. What I don't like about going to a commissioner's meeting is to get attacked by my county commissioner when I first walk in and stand up and talk. But that's the attitude that they take against us. It's not listen and let's discourse. It's attack.
You were not only attacked there, you were attacked on Facebook.
I don't even look at Facebook for that very reason. But here's the bottom line. Please think about getting involved, coming to these meetings. This issue regarding the policies and procedures of the library, our librarian is supposed to post this on their website so that you and I can go to that website and pull it up and read it.
It's not on there.
I know.
We will make sure it's posted on our website.
We're going to fix that. And they've postponed looking at these and voting on them. They were going to just vote them in Tuesday. If we had not showed up, they would have voted them in, and we would be stuck with the ACLU ALA sponsored and authored policies and procedures. And I asked the commissioners, I said, who wrote this? I don't know. When did they write it? I don't know. Well, have you read it? Oh, yeah, we've read it. I was going to hit them with the Nancy Pelosi, well, we're going to vote on it to read, and then we'll read it, But they knew that one was coming. But anyway, so we've tabled it till September the 22nd. So put that on your calendar. On September the 8th, we've asked for another agenda item, and that is to revise the bylaws of the Library Advisory Board. Right now, it's an incestuous deal where they vote each other in, and they're basically a bunch of progressive, liberal, commie, Marxist, left-wing nuts. I'm sorry. So if that's what you want, deciding what books go into the library, that's what you got. And the only way we're going to change it is to stand up and say, let's change this. So I urge you to come on the 8th if they put it on the agenda. And if they don't, they're going to hear from me. And I bet you they hear from Jim.
Oh, yes.
And by the way, I want to compliment Jim. The judge tried to shut Jim down, and Jim was not going to put up with it. And prior to that, the judge tried to shut Melanie down, and she stood her ground. And I'm very proud of Melanie for that. Because I don't, we got to move on with this, but I will tell you this, that it was a pleasure to have everybody here show up, suit up, and do something. And by the time we got through, I felt like the wind was blowing a different way, didn't you?
Yes, sir, it sure was.
Thank you.
Sorry.
All right, so one of the things that I would caution you guys, if you email with Dave, don't be drinking coffee when you do it, because he emails just like he talks, and this morning I got one, and I was drinking coffee, and I almost spit it all over my computer. And it was hilarious, so just be careful. Yes, Reed?
I might mention that there is a link, you can go to the video for that commissioners meeting, and it's excellent. You'd be so proud of your president, vice president, and Melanie. They will
I'll
just
post
do-
it on our website. I'll
Okay,
get it posted on our website tomorrow. So,
Good.
I think Mr. Meisinger emailed that out, but I'll make sure it's up on our website tomorrow.
Good.
All right.
Very worth looking at.
All right, so one last announcement. Next month's speaker is Dr. Bill Miller, and the topic is going to be 4 interesting things about Texas history you will not learn in public school. So please make sure to attend, and it will be Thursday, September 24th. All right, and with that, I'd like to introduce our speaker for tonight, Ray Myers. He's the founder and chairman of the Kaufman County Tea Party, and his topic tonight is border invasion. Ray's a retired teacher, coach, and principal of 30 years. But just talking to Ray, I'm pretty sure he's not sitting around idly retired right now. So he's involved in all kinds of activities, and he's a conservative political grassroots activist. He's the founder and chairman of the Kaufman County Tea Party in 2009 to present, and the founder of the Texas God and Country program, were Ray Myers and Rafael Cruz. Then he was elected national delegate for the Texas GOP in the Tampa Bay 2012, and then worked on a couple of political campaigns, the Texas, Ohio, Virginia, Louisiana campaign, the state senator Bob Hall, and then state rep Dr. Stuart Spitzer. Presently, he's working on the framing structure of the Texas Grassroots Coalition statewide organization. Ray's presentation is designed to inform us about the dangers of the illegal immigration and the threats to Texas and the nation. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ray, and we'll get started.
Thank you, Jim. I got to tell you what, it's amazing how similar the sausage is in every county in the state of Texas. They all come to the same pigs, you know. And we got the same pigs over in Kaufman County. So, and you know, the county commissioners always say the same thing. They say, guys, you got to show up. Come on. And our Tea Party's been showing up over there, and over the past 2 years, two election cycles, we've moved 4 county commissioners, moved them out and put new ones in. So if they don't mess up, we'll retire you. Get ready for that. There's a bunch of stuff that I got tonight, and I want there it is. That's my lead in back here. But I got to tell you, y'all was talking about Conaway a while ago. Whenever our congressman voted for Boehner, I don't know how many Tea Parties across the state of Texas called your congressman out, but we called our congressman out. We told him, look, we are not going to support you. We're not going to endorse you. We're not going to block walk. We're not going to phone bank. We're not going to give you money. We're not going to do anything for you. It's done. Now, we're going to give you an opportunity to come and talk to our Tea Party and talk to the people, the constituents here in Kaufman County. And what he didn't know, I invited 2 people from every county in his district to that. He's used to walking in and sitting down at a little tea and a little coffee, and maybe 10 or 12 of us together, you know, and he has a little informal discussion with us, a little family discussion, as he likes to call it. Well, I set up a little family discussion for him, and he didn't expect. We had about 50 people there, and it was a cross section of his whole district, 5, 6, 7 counties, whatever. And we absolutely, I had a picture. When he walked in the door, I had a big old picture. I went to Walmart and I blew the thing up. I put a big old picture on this side of Boehner and Pelosi, and I put a big old picture on this side of Boehner and Obama. And I said, there it is, Jeb. Jeb Hensling's his name. But anyway, today, we've got a super
writer in our Tea Party. His name was Jan Shedd. And Jan, whenever we started looking at this Planned Parenthood thing, and about the babies and all that sort of thing, and so there's a letter that from Heritage Alliance that's being signed by the congressman now, and we started looking at that letter, and he hadn't signed on. Our congressman hadn't signed on to defund Planned Parenthood. So Jan put together a post today and put it out on Facebook, and I'm going to make sure Reen and Jim and some of everybody gets this thing. In fact, I brought a copy of it with me. Okay? When it hit the press today on email, okay, and on our blog, on our website, we can watch our website. Congressman Henschling hit that thing 11 times today on this thing right here. I'm going to leave this with you. We burn him up. So all you have to do is take this and put Conaway in there and get him out there. That's all you got to do. Because if I'm right, he hadn't signed up. So maybe he has. I hope he has done that. But I'm not a betting guy too much, but I bet he hadn't done it. Now, I want to start out this thing with what's a Tea Party. You know, we had a discussion in Marble Falls this weekend. They wanted to change the name to Tea Party. Made me mad. I found out on the doorsteps that people like the Tea Party. Knocking doors, Mike's going to find out. Knocking doors, you're going to find out that people really like the Tea Party. And so I'll just go for that. The Tea Party. Organized teams of like-minded, patriotic, conservative Judeo-Christians united together to serve our country from a tyrannical government leader whose mission is to destroy the Constitution and erode the very foundation of our economy and traditional American values. With the onslaught of attacks on our Christian religion, it's about time we told the nation who we are. We're not teabaggers. We're not occupiers. We're not radicals. For the most part, we're Judeo-Christians. We love our God, our family, our country. Plain and simple, we're going to dig in and we're not going to back up. If the Marxist progressive seculars want to declare war on Christians, they've tried that before. Let the revolution begin. We believe in the Constitution, the rule of law. We believe in securing our borders. We believe in a balanced budget. And most of all, we believe in personal responsibility. So if the progressive seculars want to find us, we meet each and every Sunday. And throughout the week in every community in America. We're not ashamed of who we are. Now I got to find my clipper here. Y'all like that cartoon? That's been popular. Right there. This one's kind of getting popular. Now, Rick Perry's not in there anymore. But this cartoon right here, the Texas Catch and Release Program. My talk is about the border and about really what's really going on around here and down there, okay? Rick, that's an ISIS fish. You got to throw it back. It's protected. Well, that's kind of the way things are going on that border. There's not anybody turning them around and sending them back. Not one. Here's a guy that's stirring the pot. Wouldn't you say? He is stirring the pot, and what he's done, he's shined a light on the border issue more than anybody else. If it hadn't been for him, we would have still been back here sitting on the back burner. But this guy's bringing it up. He's bringing it to the forefront. And our state rep, our guy that's running for state rep, we got an MC, a guy up there too. But our guy that's running for state rep, his name is Brian Slayton. He's been out there knocking those doors. And man, it's unbelievable. What do you think about Trump? What do you think about Trump? I mean, it just goes from door to door. And it's out there. And when you get that kind of momentum going, it's going to be hard to stop that guy. I like Ted Cruz. I'm not bashful. He's my guy. But you notice Ted and Donald are kind of, they got a little deal going, don't they? Okay, a vision in order, we got to know this. We got a new kid on the block and he is moving the issue, right? Okay, Trump's immigration plan. I'm not going to go through all that, but he's got stuff on there people talk about, and he'll say it. You know, he'll say turn them around and send them back. And they all go, oh, you can't do that. Yeah. Nationwide E-Verify. Mandatory return of all criminal aliens. Detention. Not catch and release. Defund sanctuary cities. Oh boy. I mean, those things, if you know what's going on, that's great. Okay? So anyway, he's getting the message out there. This bad boy is stirring the pot. Trump said that he would rescind Barack Obama's DREAM Act and deport all undocumented immigrants if he were elected president. He has a point. Huh? Why? This is why we need border security. There's a clear and present danger of a pandemic, Ebola, diseases. We're going to show you something in a minute. A secure border is critical for the safety of our citizens. Stop Obama's amnesty program. Way to go, Judge Andrew Hassan. He has stopped it for now. It's still down there in that court, and it's still sitting there. So as long as it's sitting there, we're in good shape. But they say cooler weather is on the way. So when the weather cools down, here they come again. You start looking for those trains coming up here again. Okay? The threat of ISIS, drug cartels, gangs coming in by the thousands. For every one we catch, how many get by? Now, politics. For all of you who you can look it up in the dictionary, Webster, but this one's not in the Webster dictionary. This is a guy by the name of Zach Taylor. He is the president of the Border Patrol agents in Arizona, the retired Border Patrol agents. This is his definition of politics. The art of manipulating the masses to achieve a goal through the use of an emotional issue. Huh? Gonna take away Granny's Social Security? Y'all ever hear that before? You know, we're not gonna have any kids, have any lunch for the kids at school. Have you ever heard that before? All kinds of stuff. This is how they do it. The use of the emotional issue. And there's the issue. Oh, you cannot separate those parents from those little kids. That's what they're using. That's what they're using. Right? They're coming. Y'all seen this picture before, I'm sure, and that's true. That's true. They've got videos of it. In October 2014, it's estimated 30,000 were on the trail. On the trail between the southern Rio Grande, not southern Rio Grande, but the southern border of Mexico, all the way to the Rio Grande. 30,000. 30,000. 300,000. I'm sorry. No, off just a few million or something. Okay. How many of you heard this Cloward Pivens thing? You know what that is?
Heard what?
Cloward Pivens. Cloward Pivens.
Yeah.
This is dangerous. This is what's going on. Everybody, this is what's going on. The plan calls for the destruction of capitalism in America by swelling the welfare rolls to the point of collapsing our economy. Huh? That's what's been going on. It's still going on. Their method of dispersing the illegals all over the country is called Southwest Keys. You know what Southwest Keys is? The old Acorn. They just changed the name. Huh? They changed the name. Southwest Keys is Acorn. Yeah, they just changed the name. Operated by the government and organization and fully funded by you. That's what's going on. Now, Senator Bob Hall and I, and my wife Sonia, and by the way, I have Sonia here with me. I have to get her permission to come and do these things. And Dennis McKee and Barbara, they're here with me from down in Kaufman County, and they're a great couple. They help me with my tech stuff because I'm really lacking in that area. But thank you so much. But anyway, Bob Hall and I were headed to Canton, and we got out on Interstate 20, and we noticed these vans up ahead. And we got into these vans, and we started looking at those vans. It was full of kids, all Hispanics. And I'd heard somewhere that these Hispanic kids were being dispersed all around in East Texas. So I got behind the van, and I got the license number. And Bob was in another car up front, and Sonia and I are back here. I called Bob, and I told him, I said, get out and start taking pictures when these vans come back. So Bob did that. Well, anyway, we got the license number. I called a private eye while I was driving along, And I said, here's this number, run it for me. Southwest Keys, Tubular, Florida.
Wow.
Huh? It was the vans. They were going, they call that resettlement. Refugee resettlement or alien resettlement, whatever you want to say. But it was this right here, the picture I took. It's not somewhere else, it's me. Now, this is unbelievable. You're going to get to see this. TA Truck Stop, Travel America Truck Stop, Rockwall, Texas. For the past year, buses, 4 to 6 buses, normally a day, sometimes 5, 6 days a week, come into the TA Truck Stop in Rockwall, Texas, unload. They come from Laredo or south of Laredo. They load up down there. They come this way, and they're stopping at TA, Travel America Truck Stops, along the way. They get to the TA in Rockwall. They get off the bus. They go in, and they pay for their Fritos with brand new, crispy $100 American bills. Huh? Where do they get that money? And they get it across. They get it across. They load up on the other side of the border. And here they come. This has been going on sometimes as many as 12 buses a day, all going one way to Chicago. And they've got an old army barracks up there that they're loading them up with, and then they disperse them out all over the country. And I've got to tell you this. Not only Hispanics, not only from South America, other than Congressman Louis Gohmert, Congressman Trey Gowdy. You know what they're doing? Y'all know what I'm fixing to say? Somebody know? They're moving in Muslims into their district. They're moving them in. They're saturating their district with Muslims, Syrians, and everything else that they can in their district. This is a problem, folks. This is Cloud Pivens on steroids. Okay? Fuel stop, Rockwall, I-30, 205. If anybody wants to go by there and take a look. Are we getting close to the video?
Couple of times.
Right here it is. This is an actual video of what's going on in Rockwall, Texas. I've brought it to the police department, sheriff's department, county commissioners, and the mayor. Okay? What's this?
I'm gonna go see what's how the bus is moving. Probably going to refuel. Let's go, man. You with that bus load? You speak English? Huh? Where'd y'all come from? Y'all speak English? No. No? Where'd y'all come from? Donde la casa? Donde la casa? Mexico? Donde? Going to Chicago? Vámonos. I mean, where are you going? Chicago? Where y'all headed? Hello? You the bus driver?
Yeah.
Where'd y'all come from?
I come from Chicago now.
Y'all are headed to Chicago?
Yeah.
Where did they all come from? Mexico?
The all no, it's a regular passengers. It's a like a regular. It's just, I'm from Chicago, I'm going to Mexico.
Yeah, but there's like 4 every day that come here from Mexico going to Chicago.
Yeah. I go to Chicago 2 times a day. Morning and the night.
2 trips every day. And you stop here every time?
Every time. Yeah.
So who's paying for the trips?
Who's paying?
Yeah.
The company.
But you don't know who the contract's with, not with the government, or?
They have a company with the government, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a big company, they will have many buses. I think over 100 buses.
And they're all doing the same route, the same.
I'm not with them. I go to Chicago, I go to Laredo, El Paso.
Laredo, El Paso, Eagle Pass.
They all going to live there, or are they moving, or?
Just regular passengers. Like my warehouse.
Right. Just wondering how many are, so the same people, you take them back?
No, it's never same.
They did hit that bus
They're
back.
going in-
They don't take them back.
In Chicago.
Yeah.
But, all right, then.
Who's on that bus? Y'all ever think about that? Who's on the bus? Is ISIS on the bus? Or drug cartel? I want you to watch this. This is another deal. The bus is unloading out there. This is a different bus. Here comes the cowboy. Right behind him around the corner. Now I want y'all to watch this guy coming around the corner. Getting off that bus out there. One of our Tea Party leaders in Tyler took this picture. Note the medical mask on this man. He's ill. Huh? Look at there. Who knows who or what, how many are coming on these buses? They're coming through every day. Every day. Cloud pivots is what this is. Okay, get the light.
Well, Perry is running his campaign on the information that he closed down the border.
Oh, I'm getting around to that. Getting around to that. I wish, this one right here, this is important. And I wonder, can we make this, Jim, can we make that smaller? So I can say federal immigration laws under Section 8 USS 13424. Any United States citizen. This is the law right here. This is not somebody making something. This is the law, the real law. Any United States citizen who knowingly assists an illegal alien, providing them with employment, food, water, shelter, or transport has committed a felony. Huh? And we'll have to roll it up a little bit if we can. If we can't, we'll just stop. Cities, state officials, counties, states that allow shelter or transport, so-called sanctuary cities, are subject to arrest, or the law enforcement agencies who ignore to enforce this law, police officers who ignore this law, violate Section 8 USC 13324, or committing a Section 8 274 federal felony. This is the law, people. And we're not enforcing it. Huh? Okay. This is the same thing. La Raza connected with Southwest Keys. You would not believe how many of these things. This is Southwest Keys. This is where they plan to go. This is where they're dispersing. These are only the places that we found out so far. All over the Southwest, there is where they plan to go. I think the red is where they actually are. The blue, the yellow is where they're going to go, and the blues that you see is where they've been kicked out. So, we're aware, but it takes the community to stand up against these people. Huh? Rick Perry. Boy, come on, staff. When the odds get against Texas, stand up and fight. Remember what? He doesn't remember. I just couldn't help myself. I had to do this. Couldn't help myself. Who remembers Michael Dukakis? Huh? Y'all remember the picture in the tank? Yeah. Whenever I saw Perry in that gunboat, I couldn't help it. I had to put Michael Dukakis over here and Rick Perry over here. You see the guns? Yeah, there they are. And when I sent that to Austin, Texas, I said, I'm sending this to Rick Dukakis. Anyway, Perry's immigration policy. You can't read that, but all those signs on this side of the border are Perry's free lunch, Perry's free kindergarten, Perry's free jobs, Perry's free everything. I mean, it's everything. This guy gets on TV and it just kills me that he gets up there and he says, we know how to secure the border. He hadn't turned around one of them and sent them back. Not one. Reason why? Rick Perry. Free tuition for illegals. He killed sanctuary city legislation. The big Mexican highway, the NAFTA highway, is a big deal. That's huge. And if we hadn't had eminent domain, he'd have got that through. But eminent domain killed him. Thank God. And open borders money. Y'all have an HEB here in Granbury?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Open borders. Sorry. Perry Homes, Weekly Homes, and HEB Groceries. Do you realize there's as many HEB grocery stores in Mexico as there are in the United States? They changed the name, but they're over there. And the achievement, the Texas corridor, you know, this was Perry's highway. This is what he was going to do. Now, if he does this right here and brings all the things that he wants to in here, I thought Perry's cherry, then there's no border in Texas. There's no border anyway, but there's really no border if he gets this done. He's a big world order guy. He's one of these UN world order guys. Rick Perry. Now get this. Y'all remember the surge. The surge, remember? When we were all going to, he sent the National Guard down there, he sent the Highway Patrol, the game wardens, everybody. He sent them down there. This is his general here in Texas. Right here, John Nichols. When the news asked John Nichols, General Nichols, what the rules of engagement was on these people, he says, the rules of engagement on the border are no engagement. No engagement. Stand down and leave them alone. Stand down and leave them alone.
Just a trick.
This is what we've been doing with them. Got diapers, got Huggies, we got all kinds of stuff for all those kids. There was almost a mutiny on the border with our highway patrol. Y'all hear about that? The DPS and the highway patrol and everybody, they thought they were going down there to do something. They went down there and the biggest job they had was babysitting. In the heat, in the mosquitoes, in the coyotes and the rattlesnakes, they were babysitting. And this is how they were outfitted. Huh? Wow. There's one of them that they let across the border, and you know they took this picture of him, and he told him, hey, and he shoots everybody the bird, and he says, I'm 15 years old. I'm going to go to school with your daughter whether you like it or not. And this is what they say. Every one of them will tell you, in the highway patrol, the DPS officers, the border patrol, every one of them will tell you, when they come across the border, they'll say, I'm 15. I'm 15. If they're 30, they'll tell you they're 15. If they're 12, they'll tell you I'm 15. Who's going to check? Nobody's checking. Boy, we need some leadership, right? Yes. Let me show you one. This girl right here. Yes. Maria Espinoza Lane. I know Mike knows her, you know. Let me tell you what she did. Maria Espinoza Lane runs a program called the Remembrance Project, where she remembers victims of illegal aliens. She was on the stage with Donald Trump in Las Vegas and in Arizona. Okay, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But she decides that enough is enough. So she takes her pickup truck, her and her husband, Tim. They drove it down to the Mexican border in Brownville. They drove it out on the International Bridge. They turned it sideways and stopped traffic. In about 3 minutes, she was surrounded with soldiers and machine guns. Okay? The machine guns were held on her and said, ma'am, you're going to have to move this truck or we're going to jail you, put you in jail. She says, put me in jail. Stood up right on the bridge, said, here it is. Put the cuffs on me. Tim's over here taking pictures. See? Put the cuffs on me. So they decide they're going to have a little powwow in the corner. They had a powwow in the corner. They said, ma'am, you go ahead and take all the pictures you want. Just don't be too long and you can go right on. She said, I'll tell you what I will do. I'll leave this place when y'all let our Marine go. Y'all remember that? Tamarisi? She stood there. Now, she's been doing good. She's really stood up. Look at this next picture. Look who's chasing Maria. Y'all see that picture? Look who's trying to get her attention. That's Donald Trump. Right there. See him back there? There's Maria right here. He's reaching, trying to get a hold of her. Whoa, wait a minute. I want to talk to you. Huh? Yeah, he knows. He knows. Hey, this girl's got it together. Now, she was out there right after this, after Kate Stanley got killed. And she's the one that brought that word and brought all that information out to the Trump campaign. And she's working with the Cruz campaign too. But she's bringing all this stuff out, and she's really, really making a name in doing that kind of thing for the people of this country. She's not doing it for herself. She is a patriot, and I'm so proud of her. Sanctuary cities. You know, we have sanctuary cities in Dallas and Houston and San Antonio and all around. You know where they're going now? They're coming to Granbury. You know what? Last Saturday they was in Corsicana. This group, this La Raza group, CIRG, Corsicana Immigrant Rights Club group. They came and they marched down the street, and their purpose is to make Corsicana, Texas a sanctuary city. They've got Dallas and Houston and all the big cities. They're going to target us now. Huh? Corsicana Immigrant Rights Group targets small town Texas. There it is, right there, folks. I can't read all that to you. Small town Texas are targeted in a California-like bullying tactic. Get ready. County commissioners, where are you? Anybody in here? You need to start standing up. You need to start standing up and getting yourself together, because, look, they're not stopping with Dallas and Houston and Fort Worth, San Antonio. They're coming after you because they know that this is a stumbling block. I'm bringing this stuff to you. What you do with it, let's go. You got to do something with it. Okay? What was the cost last year? Illegal immigrants sent $56 billion in pure cash back to their home country last year. $56 billion. That's after their kids enjoyed education, free lunches, free medical, free everything for y'all. Paid for by y'all. They sent all that money back to Mexico and Central America and everywhere else. Now, what can we do? Identify the problem. We know what the problem is. Don't let anybody tell you. Now, this is just me talking. I've been quoted here and there, and they get me all the time. But our country's under an invasion. That's me. I'm saying that. We're under an invasion. Now, don't tell me it's not. It's not a big army with tanks and everything coming over here. But they're doing it. They're coming across. And they're just as dangerous because of the cartels, because of the human trafficking, because of the disease. They're affecting and they're a danger to every small town and every community in the state of Texas as well as the United States. That's an invasion. And we got to stop it. Huh? Why? The magnets. We have the magnets here. There's a group in Houston called Stop the Magnets. And that's what we've got to start educating ourselves on these things. And stop these magnets. Stop the health care. Stop the food stamps. Stop the tuition. Stop housing. And the lure of amnesty. That's what's going on.
And the birthright.
Pardon?
And the birthright.
Oh yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
They're working on that. Okay, constitutional solution. Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay tonnage, keep troops, ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state or foreign power unless we are actually invaded. In such imminent danger will not admit delay. We've been invaded, and we are in imminent danger. I mean, that Ebola thing, I'm going to get to that in a minute. That Ebola thing, you think about your kids and think about what that could happen if it gets out. And that's just one disease. That's just one way they might do it. Otherwise, we've got a lot of other things. Now, We could stop this under Article 1, Section 10. All that has to do is either the governor, the attorney general, or the state legislature can submit a letter from Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution saying that we need to secure our border now. Not, there's probably 25 state reps down there that would actually do that. The rest of them are middle of the road moderates or Democrats, you know. Anyway. By assuming the constitutional authority, the sovereign state of Texas will interpose itself between the federal government and its own citizens for their safety and general welfare. The state of Texas will thereby assume a lawful position of enforcing already existing laws, already on the book, to prevent endangerment to our citizens and legal residents. Article 1, Section 10. We can do that. They just don't have the will to do it. Thank God we sent people like Bob Hall down there this time, and Don Huffines and some others, Connie Burton. I mean, they're getting it together down there in the Senate. But hey, they got to have reinforcements. We need Mike down there. Yeah. I guarantee you we need him down there. Now we've got what's called, and I don't want to get into this very much, but we're going to Arizona next month. We've got what we call the Interstate Compact, where Bob Hall has submitted that. By the way, how many $1 million did they spend to seal the border? I've got it in a slide over here. Let me talk about the compact. A compact is an agreement between between two or more states getting together and saying that we're in clear and present danger and we're going to seal our border. And it goes around the federal government. If they pass the compact, Obama can't do anything about it. It's been done before. So Senator Bob Hall is working on that now. And we're working with Oklahoma, we're working with Arizona, New Mexico, and I guess there was one more, Louisiana. Yeah, to do this. So we're working on that. And guess what? A compact doesn't cost anything. Doesn't cost the taxpayers a dime. And they wouldn't pass it. They brought it up in the legislature this past session. They wouldn't pass it. Scares them to death. Oh, they might get that done. Yeah, we want it done.
Ray, has Abbott given any feedback on that?
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you. It says they require congressional consent and the president doesn't have to approve it. A simple majority of Congress can approve this. It has to, and when we pass the compact here at the local level, then it's got to go before Congress. And if it goes before Congress, now get this, this ought to shake your boots. We have a Republican majority.
Yeah, whatever.
You know, I'm scared to death. I don't know. It's terrible. In other words, the current Republican-controlled Congress can go around a lawless President Obama, allowing the participating states to enforce federal immigration laws and gain an operational control of our border. We're working with Arizona and possibly Virginia. That was back a few days ago. Now, we've got other states coming on board with this, okay? We're going to be working on that. What happens if we don't secure our border? There's Mohammed. He's running across the Rio Grande with a big firecracker on his back. And his comment is, which way to the Houston Ship Channel? What if they put a big firecracker in the Houston Ship Channel? America is effectively shut down gasoline-wise. One big firecracker. And our country is shut down, totally shut down. Breaking news. Dan Patrick brought this out. Breaking. 10 ISIS fighters have been caught trying to cross the Rio Grande River and the Mexican border. Read the full story here. There's Mohammed. Don't say he's not coming. They're already here. They're really already here. And it's dangerous. It's terrible. There's the Houston Ship Channel. There are no more refineries in America, and Obama has refused to allow the construction of any. Does this make you think about what kind of situation our country is really in? And Texas is standing alone here, but I guarantee you this, we don't have the support that many people think we have in the state legislature, at the governor level, and at all levels. We're going to have to do some changing, folks.
Hey, Ray, let me throw something in there about the Houston Ship Channel. Were you aware that they shut down the fourth largest refinery in the world in St. Croix, Virgin Islands, about 2 years ago?
No, I wasn't aware of that,
That is very
but
significant.
it's significant. What's he doing shutting down all the coal plants?
No.
Huh? This is all connected. This is all connected, folks. The new mission.
He was gonna do that before he got elected the second time.
We know. Listen, I was there. I was in Ohio on election day. I know what happened. Anyway, keep the illegals from crossing and occurring, doing anything to fall short of preventing illegals from setting one foot on Texas soil will not stop the invasion, nor will it reduce its state of imminent danger. We've got to stop it. This is the Ebola guy. But, ISIS, cartels, human trafficking, drug cartels, sex slavery, it's only a matter of time before terrible tragedy happens here. Do you know this? This shocks people. Over in East Texas, do you know where the #1 prostitution ring is in East Texas? In East Texas. Where they operate and who operates it?
I thought they closed that down. They made a movie.
The Grange.
First Monday, Canton, Texas.
I'll be there.
First Monday. Pretty simple. Start thinking about how many thousand vendors come into Canton, Texas on Wednesday and Thursday. All bringing their little campers in there. They're there Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. The cartels are bringing these little girls in, some of them as young as 12 years old, to those places. Now, when you have a festival here, and you got vendors coming in everywhere, where do you look? Right under your nose. They're here.
Cowboy games.
They're here, folks. Right here in Granbury. There's going on. Like the cartels are behind this stuff. They've already taken over the produce industry down in the valley. They've taken it over. Those tomatoes and oranges and things you get, it's not good. Now, the current definition of politics, again, is the art of manipulating the masses through the use of emotion. Think about that next time you hear this on the radio or TV or in newspapers. It gets worse. Getting ready for the next round of illegals. They're all coming from the Middle East. What you see in this picture is Syrian refugees. They're coming now. And they're bringing them on airplanes. And they're bringing them over here. And you know what? I'm hearing this. I can't prove this, but I'm hearing they're bringing them over here. If they decide they want to go home, they just get on a plane, go back, and then they come back again. And they don't have to go through immigration like the rest of them. If you're a refugee, that's a different set of rules. A different set of rules. We don't know who's in our country anymore. Obama to bring 10,000 Syrians to America. Now this is probably the worst slide on the whole bunch. Because I wanted you to think about this. There's a lot of people in here that are grandmothers, grandfathers, so forth. Look at that picture. What is to prevent, you've seen all this stuff about ISIS and what they do to people. What is to prevent ISIS or a Mexican cartel? Because they do it on shock value. We're pulling up at a Granbury Middle School or elementary school, loading up a little kid in their van and taking them off and making a video. Huh? Your grandkids. That's going to happen. I hate to say it, but they are going to do it. These are not good people we're dealing with. And our leadership in this country has let them do it. Yes, they have. And don't you ever think that they use every excuse in the world. Every one of them run on conservative values, sealing the border. They get up there and they turn around and they don't do it. They're not doing, they're liars, they're not doing what they say they'll do, and we've got to stop it. What will your Texas leaders do? Each and every Republican ran on the issue of secure the border. Lieutenant Dan Patrick has recommended $800 million to secure the border over the next biennium. But Speaker Joe Straus, he did recommend, not one penny, no, he recommended, I think it was $100 million, $90 million or something. But listen. Okay. What did Governor Abbott do? Somebody asked that a while ago. And around that table right there, I happen to be sitting there. Maria Espinosa sitting there. Bob Hall sitting there. People from all around the state of Texas. We took that video that you saw, and I handed it to Governor Abbott. And I said, will you please investigate this and do something about it? Yeah, right. That was, I don't know, 6 or 7 months ago. Hadn't heard a word. Will you please get behind the border compact and do something about it? It doesn't cost you anything. All you got to do, oh yeah, we'll do something. Well, you got this. This was before the legislative session. He never one time opened his mouth about that. Not one. He did about pre-K. Oh, yeah. We're going to do this. We're going to pass this socialist program, but we're not going to do anything about the border. Oh, we'll give you the money. But what happens when they give you the money? Corruption is in the works. You can throw as much, just like our schools. I want to make this statement. You know how much money there is in failing schools? They throw money at failing schools like crazy. Huh? That's where your money goes. How many of you get paid for being successful? Think about that. The dumbing down of America is underway. Huh? There you go. I hope this slide's right. I did this a while ago before I came down here, and my math skills are not really good. But I've said this. Mike Alcott's back there. I think he's seen this before. But I was standing in front of a guy named Michael Sullivan and a bunch of state reps in Austin, Texas, when we were fighting Joe Strauss, trying to get him out of there this last session. And I said, Mike, you tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm waiting to hear you. We got 150 state reps in Texas. 150. 98 of them have an R by their name. 52 have a D by their name. Okay? Now, we have 98 so-called Republicans. 60 of that 98 Republicans are hardcore Democrats. 60 of them at least. That's an estimate. 60 of the 98 Republicans are hardcore Democrats. They know they can't win unless they run as a Republican. They're Democrats and they run as Republicans, okay? 18 are mushy moderates, and we may have 20 real conservatives down there. That's why we need this guy. Now, if you, by golly, we're going to watch you. Watch every move you make. We sent Dr. Stuart Spitzer down there. He voted with us. He's one of the 20. We sent Bob Hall down there. That's my county. We sent him down there. He's in there. We got to have reinforcements, folks. Now that you know, I was with Brandon Darby Tuesday night. This is Thursday night. Brandon Darby is the editor of Breitbart, Texas. He gave a program called the County Tea Party. And he went through some border issues, and he gave us a lot of stories and so forth. But the number one thing that he said, the number one thing that Brandon said, 98.9% of those crossing the border do it successfully. They don't go back. 98.9. That is crazy. Are we going to allow that? That's crazy. So, illegals that cross the southern border of Texas successfully, we must elect righteous candidates. I was in Marble Falls Saturday. Anybody in this room invited to go to that? Okay. Marble Falls Saturday. And what it was, they wanted you to come down there and study policy. Policy. They wanted to go through states' rights. They wanted to go through government, the health care. They wanted to go through education, transportation, all the issues. They wanted to school you on that so that you could help your state rep or your state senator. I was miserable the whole time that I was there because, and now this is just me, again, this is just me talking. That's the cart before the horse. Where you change policy is you change the people. The number one thing you need to do is elect righteous candidates. Then you can change policy. You don't do that. You don't do the policy first and then change it. You elect good people to go down there and then you change policy. Okay? That's where I'm at. September the 1st is the official start of the election season and it ends in March. I'm going to be working, I'm dedicating myself to Mike Lane, to every one of those conservatives who say they will vote against House leadership. That's where I'm at. I'm not anywhere else. I don't have anything else to do. I'm not going to work on transportation. I'm not even going to work on immigration. I ran for state representative in 1988. And we had a powerful consultant standing there whenever I made this statement. I said, golly, guys, I have got to start schooling myself on what a state rep does. I don't even know. And I'm running for state rep, so I've really got to figure out what the state rep does. This guy looked at me and he said, no, you don't. He said, your number one job is not what a state rep does, it's to get elected. That's your number one thing from now till then. When you get elected, then you can start working on that. Let's get you elected first. Okay. There was 5 Republicans in Austin at that time, and I was running on a Republican ticket. I got my butt beat, but I tried. Okay. All right. Elect candidates who will say no to amnesty. Elect candidates who will actually support, turn them around and send them back. We got to do that. We must educate ourselves, our Tea Parties, and our constituents. We've got to do that. We must know what the enemy is, therefore know what Clyde Pickens is, what Southwest Keys is, what the two-headed snake is, the establishment of Republicans and Democrats, and what they plan to do. We've got to know what they're doing. We've got to be able to work against that, because if you don't know your enemy, you can't challenge them. And we've got to stay on offense. Stay on offense. Don't get on defense. Stay on offense. You got to know what refugee resettlement is. Have you ever heard of Ann Corskin? Yes. Refugee resettlement? Yeah. Oh, yeah. It tells you what's going on right there. Okay? You should know about how the invasion will impact your schools, your community, your infrastructure, your traditional way of life, and the security of your family. Those are things you need to know. By the way, I passed that out a while ago, and I hope y'all got a copy of it. We must arm ourselves now with knowledge. That's what we need to do. Now, I've got one other thing that I want to tell you. I thought I had that slide up there, but I don't. One of the most significant things happened this past wasn't October, it was in July, in Fort Worth, Texas, and Mike was part of that. It's called Shark Tank. Shark Tank. They invited 12, was it 12?
12, they have another
12 candidates, and I know you got one coming in October. They invited 12 candidates. Their first time that has been done. They invited 12 candidates, and the rest of the people that they invited were donors. Donors for these 12 candidates. And the prerequisite was you've got to stand against House leadership. We're not going to bring you in here if you don't. So they brought those 12 in there. They brought donors in from all over the state. They raised over $200,000 in one day for those candidates. Mike Lane was part of that. That's where it is. We've got to have money to fight these people. Now, for every $100 that they put in the kitty, and for every one, we've got boots on the ground. They don't. So we're out there. We'll wear out that shoe leather, and for every person that we've got knocking doors, it means a lot. I guarantee you. You can't translate the money into those door knockers. Got to tell you this. Brian Slayton's our guy. He's running against Dan Flynn. He's the guy that was supposed to be the transparency guy to stand up and impeach Wallace Hall. He was in that Wallace Hall at the University of Texas thing. So, anyway, our guy is Brian Slayton. I hate to tell you how many doors he's knocked already, Mike. He's knocked 2,500 doors.
We got to beat.
Huh?
We got to beat.
2,500 doors. I'm so glad to hear that. But that's him. He's got a team, but it's him personally. 2,500 doors. Well, he went up and knocked on the door the other day. First door, him and his sister was working together. knocked on this door. Guy came to the door. He introduced himself. I'm Brian Slayton. I'm running for state rep, and I'd sure like your support. He said, you ain't gonna believe this. He said, I can't believe this. He says, Brian, he said, we're having a prayer meeting in this house. I've got 10 people in here having a prayer meeting. And we just asked God for a righteous leader, and the doorbell rang. He said, come on in and join the prayer meeting. There you go. That's what it does. You got to get out there and knock those doors. You never know what's going to happen. Listen, folks, I want to thank you so much for inviting me down here. This is just, I'm in Texas, I'm home. And Granbury is a beautiful, beautiful place. In fact, I invited myself down here. Reen didn't invite me. I called her up and said, I want to come. So I went over to Bay Fried Chicken. You know, I have a place to go. And so anyway, she was nice and she asked me to come on down. I hope it's been good. I hope we open your eyes about this stuff, because it's bad, and it takes you, the grassroots. If you've read Ted Cruz's book, he talks about the grassroots all through there. Page 274 through 276. If you don't read anything else in that book, read 274 through 276. It will blow your socks off. I guarantee you, it talks about what's really going on, and the whole book is good. But that right there hits it home. I wanted to jump out of my car and run to D.C. and with whatever I could take. Rock, stones, whatever oh, listen, it just makes you so mad. But anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got just a couple more things to finish up, and a couple of comments I want to make in terms of supporting what Ray was saying. A couple of things to think about. When my wife and I were in Brazoria County, that was when Obama started dispersing all of these illegal immigrant children into the various areas across the country. And we actually went to our county commissioners and forced them to pass a resolution saying they didn't want the federal government to dump any of these illegal children in our county. You would be surprised what a fight it was to get those county commissioners to put that resolution through. But one of the things that's interesting that you ought to know is, who do you think controls the county when there's a health emergency?
County commissioner.
County judge.
County judge.
County judge. So when we're dropping off illegal immigrant children of unknown medical condition, who can set the terms on that? The county judge. So something to be cognizant of when you're calling your elected officials and asking them what they're doing about these sorts of things. Okay? So one thing I wanted to make sure, Mr. Meisinger has an announcement about the Christian Voters League that he's setting up. And then we also are going to end with Sharon giving us some information on the national anthem.
Thank you, Jim. Well, last meeting we had mentioned this. We kind of talked about it a little bit over time, but about 6 months ago, Don and Mike Lang and a bunch of us got together and came up with this concept called the Christian Voters League. And boy, does this ever tie in with what Ray was just talking about, where our power is at the ballot box, but it's also activism and prayer. Now, the whole concept of the Christian Voters League, you know, we have 66 churches in Hood County. This doesn't even count the minister alliance elements and stuff like that. And excuse me. The whole idea of this is to get all of our members here to go to one of these churches or the other. The pastors are scared to death to be activists politically. It's because they're afraid of losing their 501 status, and also they're afraid of alienating some of their members. Well, I got to tell you what, our Tea Party has a couple hundred members here that are the highest quality citizens in this whole county. And when you people are participating in this Christian Voters League element at your churches on Sundays or Wednesday nights or whenever you feel comfortable doing it, that sends a real positive signal and encouragement to the pastors and the people that are running these churches. Now, in behind all of this, Don Paul has been meeting with the Ministerial Alliance. He has gotten Judge Bolton to be an advocate for us. He attended the Republican Club, Hood County Republican Club, and the Hood County Women's Club. And he's been doing some real background on this. And Don will be the torchbearer for this as we move forward with it. So the other element is for all you people that volunteer, Cricket, the county registrar, is going to hold a certification class, a special one, for all of you volunteers that are going to participate in this. And right now, without even asking anybody, we have several people in this room who have already volunteered. And I'd like you to stand up, Melanie. Melanie Graft is one of them. Mike Loader is another one. Richard Harvey is. Bruce and Dee. Where are you guys? Yeah, okay, well, I didn't have you on the list, but I'm gonna have you on the list before this night's over. So, yeah, and Donna, but there's a whole bunch of folks that want to do this. But in line with what Ray is saying, this is where the action really is to get people registered to vote. We don't want to really politicize what we're doing so much as far as the Tea Party is concerned, but we think it's a patriotic duty we have to get our citizens actively involved in the electoral process. So what Dawn has passed out is a clipboard where you can put just print your name, your contact phone number, and your email address. I will compile all this, or Dawn and I both will, into a comprehensive list. This that what you see here, each one of you for your churches will be, this is actually a table skirt. This is made to go on the front of this table. I put it on the wall so everybody can see it. So you will be provided one of these for each one of your churches to use. So we'll get this thing organized very quickly. We will make a difference. We are making a huge difference. Melanie has sparked, Melanie and Katie have sparked a real fire in our county. And it's brought the best of us out of the woodwork on this stuff. And I'm very, very proud to be associated with this. Don, would you like to say something?
The whole program for this is
Give me the mic.
How many of you are already deputy voter registrars? Look at them. Look at them. That's great. That's great. How many of you would like to be the deputy voter registrar? That's good. It only takes a few minutes to go and do this. Or if we have enough, we could probably get Cricket to come down here and do that class. The thing we're trying to do is, because the reason we want you to put your name on the list and the church that you attend would be great, is because we don't all go to the same church. And there's, 60 some odd churches here in the county. So ideally, we'd like to have somebody in every church at a voter registration table. If you don't want to be a voter registrar, but if you would like to participate, you could even sit at the table, because you know your friends and the members of your church, and I'd be delighted to sit with you, because I am a deputy voter registrar, and it takes only a few minutes to register somebody to vote. Ideally, what we're trying to get are Christian voters. That's what we want. People that are Christian, people that are church-going, because we need to elect conservative Christians to represent us. So that's what we're after. And we don't say, we're not political at this registration table, because anybody can register to vote if they're qualified. But at the church, we think this is an ideal place to do it. We'd love to have the participation, and I'm just totally amazed at how many we've got already that are deputy voter registrars. And that would be good to get all this put together, and then whatever church that you attend or would like to go to. I mean, we did this the last go round. Rena and I did. Surprised at the success, how well we were greeted. Some of the churches accepted us. Some wouldn't let us come. But if we have members of their church participating in this, then they will let us come out and set up a voter registration table. One of the biggest churches in town told me that. He said, well, if my membership was asking me this, then I would do it. So guess what? his membership is asking him to do it, and they're gonna do it. So this is great, but this is how it's gonna be successful. We register Christians to vote, we get them excited about what's going on, we get the type of representatives that we want in Austin and possibly at the big house in DC. But anyway, you got any questions, ask Don, myself, delighted to help. Yes, sir.
We're telling the people that we talk to about this, and we say, if you call us, we'll get somebody there to your church. If you don't have a registrar there, call us, call the Tea Party, call somebody, and we'll get somebody there. We got enough people to do that.
That's great. I'll go to any churches.
I figured that.
Yeah, I'll go.
I have a question. There's Wakefield United Methodist Church, but isn't there a Wakefield Baptist Church as well?
Yes.
If that's why I left a blank space on the bottom, if there's one not listed, to write it down.
Okay.
I forgot to tell you, on that clipboard, there's 4 pages, and it's got the names of the churches listed alphabetically, so the idea is to find your church and put your name, contact, and email next to it. If you don't want to use email, just say, call me or something like that, but that's kind of a simple way to do it, because you can find your church on that list. The only things I didn't put on there, there's some kind of mission-oriented things that aren't actually churches. They're certainly valuable to our community, but it got to be so many of them. I figured that the majority of the people actually did attend one of these churches. So that's the way that form is structured. So if, I should have explained that to begin with. But.
Any other questions about this? I will tell you guys that, and I announced this the last time I was here, that I've had several people come and ask me if I would run for county commissioner in precinct 3. I will tell you I have the packet. I've started through it. I will be filling it out, and I will be turning it in.
You see how smooth he worked that in there at the end? I'm always amazed at how smooth he is. So what I want to do is make sure to leave everybody with this. Our mission is a couple of things, always to educate people and empower people. So I hope walking away tonight that you've got an education on a lot of things and some empowerment. There's a lot of people doing a lot of good work. Don and Dawn have put a lot of effort into this project. So there's tons of opportunities for you guys to get engaged and reach out. And if you've got issues in terms of that you're passionate about, but you don't know what to do about it, by all means, let us know. That's what we're here for, to try to help direct where you can channel your energy to be effective. So with that, the last thing I want to turn it over to is, Dave, go right ahead.
One thing we forgot, and I just wanted to ask, are there any visitors here that's the first time you've come to one of our meetings? All right. You can now get the T-shirt that you survived the Tea Party meeting.
All right, so the last thing that I want to do is turn it over to Sharon. She's going to give a little history about the national anthem. And then last meeting we had, we finished up with God Bless America, so I'll be looking for some volunteers to kind of lead us in that when we get done. So.
That won't be me. I heard a story several days back, and some of you guys might already know this. When I always thought of the Star Spangled Banner and the creation of the words, I thought that Francis Scott Keyes was standing in Fort Henry, looking out at the British ships. And what I found is he was actually on a British ship, looking back at Fort Henry. And what had happened was he was elected to go out and negotiate with the British commander for a prisoner swap. And while he was out there, the negotiations went really well. The commander agreed. And so he went down to where the prisoners were in the ship and told them, you know, just hold on, just be a little bit longer, you'll be free. When he went back up on the top of the ship, the commander told him, he said, you know, that's really kind of useless, frivolous, because in the morning, the British king will rule Fort Henry and the rest of the colonies. And he said, look out into the harbor, and there were hundreds of British ships. the king had ordered them to bomb Fort Henry until they brought down the flag, the American flag. And so all these ships were there to do that. And so he stood there on the ship of the commander watching them bomb through the night Fort Henry. And every time the bombs burst in the air, he could see that the flag was still standing. But it was the men down and the prisoners down below in the ship kept asking him, is our flag still there? Is our flag still there? And he would whisper down to them and say, from the bombs bursting, the light from the bombs bursting in air, I can see that our flag is still there. Then as he came shore the next morning, and that he could see that the flag was still there, although it was tattered and torn and holes in it, and it was kind of leaning. And when he got there, he found out what had happened through the night to keep the flag there, where the men of Fort Henry would volunteer and go up and hold the flagpole. And as they bombed it, they were killing the men. And as they were killed, more would come, and they would hold the flags up so it wouldn't fall. And the leaning of the flag was leaning on all of the men that had died that night to keep us free. So when you look at our forefathers and you look at all these people and the sacrifices they made, I don't see that it's so hard to take a little time out of our life to sacrifice, to turn this country around. Just as we've been hearing, we're in trouble, we need to turn it around. We can sacrifice a few hours to block walk, make phone calls, educate your neighbors, do all those things. It's not that, you don't have to sacrifice your life right now. All they're asking you to do is put some time in, and I want every one of you guys to do that. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And do I have a couple of, so I'll preface this by this. So there's many things that my wife says that I can do, and there's one thing that she's told me I can never do, and that's sing in public. So I'm just looking for volunteers to lead us in God Bless America. Ah, excellent.
I have a question.
Yes.
Way back in the beginning, you said the workshop was on the, wait a minute, second and fourth Wednesday.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It was on the flyers. The actual dates are on the flyers. So. Yes, because I couldn't get a consistent date with any place for the a location. So I changed it to the Wednesdays now. So, and the flyers actually have the date because I like dates better than days of the week. So, by all means, come out. So we have somebody that can lead us on God Bless America. Oh, come on. All right, so we got excellent. All right. Okay, everybody will stand up and thank you very much for your attendance and patience.